Hi, I'm Jenny Rose.
And I'm Toño Gonzalez.
And we're the co-hosts of Mindset and Trading Podcast, where we bring guests who help us master our mindset in trading, inspire us to create financial freedom, and teach us how to compound our money as a day trader. And today on the podcast, we're very happy to have with us Morris Chirka and Adriana van de Merwe. Morris and Adriana are working in human development and have started offering their services through public speaking. Today, we are grateful to have them here sharing something new and unique with us. Morris and Adriana, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the show.
Welcome, Morris. Welcome, Adriana.
Thank you. That's such an honor and pleasure.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to give the listeners a little bit of a background about yourself, Morris, how you and I came to know each other, and then also how you met Adriana and how you ended up on the podcast today to share with us this value that you're going to bring to the listeners. You and I met through trading, and would you be willing to just share a little bit about your trading history, your trading story, how you got involved with trading, and what led you to offering this human development service through speaking?
Absolutely. So once I was born, that's right. I was trading since I was born.
Right.
So a few years ago, I went to a cash flow game by Robert Kiyosaki, and there I met no other than Teresa Guthrie herself.
Mm.
And of course, through the mindset of trading, of the mindset of playing the game, it really trains to know your assets versus liabilities. Really great. So from there, she had her morning trading, the boss candle method, loved it, got more and more involved with it. And then, of course, through that is where I met you. Because my desire was really to change my family tree from trading my time for now to be able to do the things when I want to do the things with the people who I love. And that's my main goal.
Absolutely.
So yes, there's a lot of struggles in life. That's why we all work. We all think having money will help us get ahead in life, when money is just a tool. It's the mindset behind it is what makes you free. How many people have we seen around the world? They have literally nothing, and then yet they're so happy. And that is why we're here to change, to show that mindset and how we can be happy in all things that we do.
Absolutely. It is. It's true. You can travel in other parts of the world. You see people, singing and laughing. And even if they're living in, maybe situations less than what we would find to be, standard living, and looking at that and noticing and feeling, wow, like they've really figured it out, and sometimes I agree with you. Sometimes in our society, we can be really focused on the doing part of life rather than the being part of life. And that being part of life is really, truly where I find the magic is. That's where, you can feel love for one another. You can feel the compassion. You can find the connections with other humans. And that for me is truly where the gift of life is, and where the abundance lives. So it's a beautiful thing what you're doing, the work that both of you are doing to help people find where that source of joy can come from. So, and it's in the mindset, it's in that those qualities of life.
And
Great.
just so you know how we met was through Unleash the Power Within, Tony Robbins' event online.
Wow.
Nice.
Has the same desire for personal development, for growth.
Very cool.
And it was online.
Yes, it was online. It was still the COVID period, and we I think we both were in the same path of want to grow, want to expand our minds and become, like I always says, I'm always a constant evolving human being. In the end, that's the label I put on myself, and I think that's what we both are. It's just constantly growing and learning and trying to expand the capacities that we have underneath, that we keep it dormant there, but we all have that capacity of endless possibilities to do anything we want. And we did that UPW and different other courses, development courses, and slowly we figured out that we are on the same path, trying to to better ourselves. And we realized that we do a good team to help, because he has such a great humoristic and beautiful personality, and myself with everything I learned through the past years and my past experiences as well. And I said, I think will be a great and a unique, definitely unique team to bring a little bit more kindness and a little bit more awareness out there to people.
I love it.
Just very curious, like how far do you guys live from each other before?
About half an hour.
So you didn't know each other, and then through this course online you met each other. So everybody, listeners, even if you take that of this podcast, the person you're looking for might be 30 minutes away.
It's so weird, because you never know that you do people in UPW, that people all over the world, and then we realize that we Canadians, both of us, and then we from Edmonton. I'm like, oh.
And I think
4,000 people on that online UPW.
And I think that I mentioned this aspect because sometimes when we are vibrating in what we want in life, and you don't know when is that going to come, and having that patience that if you are building yourself, like you're nurturing what you want and who you want to become, all of a sudden, boom, that, for example, in this case, in terms of love or even work professionally, you can find that good fit for you and team up with other people that are in that same place.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I love it. There was just a fist bump for the listeners.
I'm not sure if you know the whole meaning behind a fist bump. I'll say this very quickly. It's a form of trust. I put my fist out. She has an option. She can either fist bump my fist or fist bump my face. And I thank God she does.
Very cool. So you guys met each other, and then you realized through just this connection that there was something that you could offer to the world. And so from there, you developed. Tell us a little bit about the skit that you've come up with, and how did that come to form? I'm so super excited to hear it, because and we'll let all the listeners know that they'll be providing this skit, which is full of value. But how did this come about as well?
We decide to, I think it's just, because we work a lot together with mindset, and we literally, best friends and helping each other to grow through life. Everybody goes through, things, ups and downs and struggles in lives. And I have days when I have to pull him up, and I have days when he have to pull me up. And I'm on this path of this career that I'm doing with public speaking, and I'm a life and trauma coach, and all the things that I never even thought I'm able to do. He's always there, pushing him and nudging me. No, you can do this. And we all have fears. It's impossible. We're humans. And at one point I was like, he was asking me, he's like, what do you want to do? And I said, I feel this pull of going towards public speaking and coaching and helping people this way. And he's like, I can help you from the whatever I can. And then we start talking, and then I ask him what he wants to do, and we decide to go to Toastmasters to help us. So we roll to Toastmasters, so we start doing that, and will help us a lot with the public speaking and communication skills. And because we start doing that together, at one point I'm like, what we don't together do a speech together. And I said, I never seen this before. Usually majority of the public speakers, they like one person at the time, but two to try to combine combine a speech together is much difficult. We have to know, which person what is brings with their own values and their own personalities. So I thought that that's a huge challenge, and I love challenges, and that's gonna make us better. And I'm like, why not? Let's try it. We see we have nothing to lose.
That's incredible. Yeah, go for it, Tonio.
For the listeners, could you just explain very quickly what is Toastmasters?
Yes, definitely. So Toastmasters is it's an organization. It's actually international organization where people get together in different. They do these little clubs in every single city of any country, and they do it either in person or in through Zoom or virtual. And they get together and they learn how to public speaking. And they have people that they're like mentors, that they help you, they guide you. And beside that is actually educational package as well too, where you have someone that mentor you personally and teach you how to public speaking, different communication skills, depends what you're focusing. Some people focus more on the public and motivation speaking. Some people focus on leadership. So there are different ways to help you to build up your confidence, because I don't know if I think we all know that public speaking, they say, is the fear number one in the whole world, is worse than even death. So
Yes,
people are like terrified of public speaking, and Toastmaster is a beautiful tool that you can use.
So one of the things that I'm getting from you both is this desire to continually evolve as a person, right? So continually facing whatever challenges you have, fears you have, maybe even shortcomings, because you know that through those challenges, there's a strength that is born within you, right? Yeah. And so building up that mindset is like a muscle, right? We're continually taking it to the gym and strengthening it. And just to relate that back to trading, that's something that happens also in trading. So it's this continual, like wherever you're finding those struggles, wherever you're finding yourself, blocked up against a wall, it's like pushing through that, finding what it is that's going to help you push through that. And congratulations, by the way, on facing that fear of public speaking. I'm very familiar also with that, and doing things like having a podcast has been a great tool also to help myself overcome, that fear that has been there throughout my lifetime. So I want to kind of get into sort of the next part of this is this skit that you've created, and which is also a tool for us to be able to take away, because we're going to go into sort of how traumas have been, how traumas can affect, maybe even it's that, like public speaking, for example, or where we are in our world today, why we've built up certain stories and how we can overcome some of those stories and self-imposed limitations that we have in our life. So could you just introduce a little bit about the skit and what we can learn from it?
Why, absolutely, Adriana.
Yes. So we have a little bit of like role playing as well through our story, and it's gonna reveal some facts, some ideas, and some concepts about how we see mindset, what mindset means for us. And we, through all the experience and what we study, it's just to bring a little bit of awareness and maybe a different perspective of how we see mindset and how we can help everybody to look at ourselves from a different point of view. Nice. And we're gonna do a little bit of role playing as well, so that's gonna make it a little bit more impactful, I believe.
Ooh, excited.
So in this role playing, the lovely Adriana is gonna be playing the part of the little girl, and I'll be playing the part as the father, and as well we'll be playing narrators as well.
Yes, in between.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Just to clarify for the listeners, again, it's a role play. That's not the way Morris talks to Adriana or Adriana talks to Morris. So here we go.
Okay. So Morris, you said you are trading and you've been in the trading industry for quite a lot now, no?
Well, yeah.
So what mindset has to do with trading?
Well, we all might have heard that 80% of trading is mindset. Mindset is the operational manual for our lives. It's how we interact with people, our loved ones, friends, co-workers, the decisions we make.
Mm-hmm.
Do I accept a promotional job offer or not? Do I take that trade or not? Do I hold on to it or close it?
And as we speak about mindset, I want to tell you all a story of a little girl. And I will play the little girl, and Maurice is going to play the father. And as this little girl, she came from a background, less fortunate family. We don't have a lot of money to buy toys and things, like kids want to do. So she had to learn to use her imagination, to use her creativity. So she started finding different things in the house that created as her toys. And then she loved to sing, and she loved to create stories, fairy tale stories. And of course, like any child, when you create something, you don't keep it inside you. You have so much excitement, it bursts out of you, and you just wanted to share with people around you. And guess what? The first person that came into the house was Dad. She said, Dad, let me tell you, I created this story singing, and I want to sing to you.
Oh, terrible day at work. Let me shut up. And this is how trauma is created. Trauma is not what happens to you. Trauma is what happens inside of you. What actually happened versus how we interpret it. This is where her identity was shaped, the blueprint of her life. The new mindset of her identity is how to act and interact with the world, life, good or bad, relationships, and most importantly, who should she become? How to handle decisions in every aspect of her life. Adriana, do you want to share some facts with us?
I mostly want to. I want to say a couple of words about, the default mode. We have in our brain, the way that our brain function, we have two ways of functioning. We have the default mode, which is called the autopilot, and then we have the direct mode, which is when you actually taking the focus, you focus on one task at a time. According to Dan Gilbert of Harvard, who wrote Stumbling on Happiness, an absolutely incredible book, he says that we are about 46.9% of our every daily life on autopilot. So this default mode has two ways. It has positive ways and negative ways. And let's speak a little bit about the positive ways, but today we're going to focus more on the negative part and how we can change that. So the positive things about this default mode. So imagine your brain is like a sieve, sieving the information. They say we are bombarded about 80,000 stimulants from inside our body and from the environment. So that's a lot of information that our brain has to process every single day, every single minute. And so what it does, a very smart way, it's sifting the information and it's keeping just the information that is very necessary and important to that moment, and usually is more to protect us and for our survival. That's how our brain works. Imagine if you wake up in the morning and you have to think that you have to breathe in and you have to breathe out. You have to think that you tell your brain that it needs to pump blood from your heart and send it through all your body, and you have to digest, and you have to how to lift your hand to wash your teeth or wash your face. There's so many things that your body does and you do every single day that you don't think. They are on autopilot. So it makes everything so much easier. Maurice, what other great example you can think of?
Well, for example, like driving home. I don't know how many times I got home. It's like, how did I get here? Did I run over anybody?
Exactly. That's a great example of when you're on autopilot. Another great and a positive way of this fault network, as researchers is calling it, is that when we are, like how we create memories. When you create memories, is that I give you example, when you burn yourself, the second time your mind and your brain reminds that don't ever touch that object again. So it helps us to protect us. But then let's speak about the negative part of it.
Negatives?
Yes.
Why do we have to go there? I like being positive. Okay. Well, some of the negatives I can think of is not taking risks, not going for that job opening, not trying new things, doubting yourself and taking that trade, and then end up going, oh my goodness, I should have took it. The next time you get emotional and you take that trade and goes, I wish I didn't take it. In the end, not allowing you to become who you meant to be. Adriana, you remember the little girl story?
Definitely. So as you recall the little girl story that when she was, she happened to that to come and scream at her. What happened that she observed and learned for being herself is not enough. So she learned to become someone else in the exchange of love and attention from her parents. With that, we all need. We need to be heard and seen by our parents and the people around us. And Maurice, what do you think are the most two used and powerful two words that everybody use and tell themselves and others?
Room service. No, sorry. I am.
Exactly. I am. This is the most powerful and used words we all are saying to ourselves every single day. As an example, I'm not good enough. I'm not loved. I'm a loser. Maurice, what would be yours?
Well, I'm like, when it comes to trading here, I feel like I'm an imposter. Like, who am I? Right? I'm not capable of learning how to trade. Look at all the components of it. And most of all, I don't believe I'm worthy of success. And one thing I found out is that those are all learned thinking patterns.
Okay. So I got it. If they are learning thinking patterns, that means I can unlearn them. How do I undo them?
We don't undo them. We create new identities to replace them. Let me tell you a quick story.
Okay.
Adriana,
Yes.
are you a cow or a buffalo?
Excuse me? What did you just said?
Okay. Before you come to any conclusions, let me tell you the story. There was this buffalo and this cow in this field staying together, right? So when a cow sees a storm in the distance, the cow goes, oh my goodness, I got to get away. Turns the opposite direction of the storm and starts running and running and running. And of course, the storm is big and is fast. And so it catches up to the cow. So the storm's over top of the cow, and the cow's like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. It just keeps on running. And then eventually the storm passes over. The buffalo, on the other hand, sees that storm and puts his hoofs in the ground. Like, okay, buddy, I'm waiting for you. Bring it on, bring it. And the storm is coming. And the buffalo is holding its place. It's coming and coming. And then as soon as the storm is above the buffalo charges full throttle into the storm and quickly through it. Where a cow endures in the storm a lot longer. Right? Trying to away from it. Instead, face it head on, get through it quickly, and endure the rewards and the freedom later. So, Adriana, what do you think? Are you a cow or a buffalo?
First of all, thank you for not calling me a cow, because then we're gonna talk later about that.
Uh-oh.
But okay, I get it. So how one becomes a buffalo?
By being deliberate of your thoughts. Just like the buffalo, you acknowledge your limiting beliefs and become more conscious of your thoughts and face them head on.
Okay. So then, Maurice, it sounds like I have to see my limited beliefs to face them, to be able to create a new identity?
I actually have a better idea. Instead of seeing them, you're going to write them down.
Oh, yes. I think I heard about this before. They say when you write things down, it's like 30% more chances to actually become reality. So does mean if I write my limited beliefs and I can see them and I face them every day, they're going to lose their power and I'm going to be able to deal with them differently.
Absolutely. When you write them down, it's in black and white. It's there in front of you. It's putting the unknown into the known, and now you know how to deal with it. And by keep seeing it every day, they lose its grip. You're right. They lose its power.
Okay, so let's make this exercise. So I'm asking you, what are your beliefs?
Give me a second here. I'm getting on my knees and start praying.
No, silly. I'm not talking about that kind of beliefs. I'm talking about your limited beliefs.
Oh, okay. I see, Adriana. Okay. Yeah. No one likes me. Hey, how about you guys out there? Do you guys like me? Come on, come on. Someone gotta like me out there. Do you?
So you see, this is your default mode that you have it until now. Let's create a new way of thinking and a new beliefs. And how we're gonna do that is that we have 3 questions that will be empower you and help you to realize what mindset you have and how you can change that. So the first question will be, what will costed you in your past to have these limited beliefs?
Cost? What would it cost me? Give me a second. I'm gonna go get my bank statements.
No, I'm not talking about your bank statements, but definitely that's going to cost you a lot of money as well too. I'm talking about what is costed you in your past to keep believing those, to have those beliefs that keep you stuck.
Yeah. I wasn't popular, right? No one to hang out with. I lost opportunities, not be able to make that good relationships, and missing trades, not having the confidence to be able to take that trade, or is it a good trade or not trade? Because I keep doubting myself.
Mm-hmm. And a second question, what do you think is costing you now in the present moment to keep having those limited beliefs?
Not taking the risks, feeling stuck in my lifestyle, just not being happy.
And $1 million question, number 3, what is going to cost you in the future if you don't evolve of this limited belief and you keep them?
So how do I change this limiting belief of no one likes me to what?
You can say the right people love me.
Okay, I get it. So for example, I'm too old to start over, to now I have plenty of time. I have experience that I can use for my benefits.
Exactly. That's a great example. Another example would be if you are too young. A lot of people say, I'm too young. I don't have the experience. You can say, I have plenty time. I have so many resources in these days to become experienced.
Okay, so it sounds like what you're saying is it's not an event, a single time event. It's a process.
It's definitely a process. It took you what, 3-4 decades to learn all these beliefs. So it might not take you 3-4 decades to unroll them, but you definitely are able to learn different beliefs and readjust the way you think. Because remember, the majority of the beliefs that come from you have them, they're not even yours. You adopt them. They are from your parents, they are from your back experience, from your setbacks, from your life, from your bad relationship. And the most of them are the interpretation of the experience that you are going throughout your life.
So that is where having good mentors, having good people around you to help you to change your identity, to help you change your mindset.
Definitely.
Do you remember going back to that story of the little girl there?
Definitely. So as this little girl, she grew up, she still had that trauma, if we can call it, from the past. And it came a point in her life when she started doing the health, her work with her, help herself with through self-development and coaching and other things, help her to actually understand what happened and why she's feeling stuck. So she had this conversation. She went back and had this conversation with her dad.
Hey, daughter.
Hi, Dad.
Do you remember that time when you were about 5 years old and I came home and I snapped at you?
Oh, I could never forget about that day. That day, I always gonna remember very well that day when you yelled at me and you told me you didn't like my singing and you told me to shut up.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry you thought that. I never told you I did not like your singing. I love your singing. I miss it. I had a rough day at work. The commute home was very hectic, and I had this massive headache. And when I got home, my head was hurting so much. And instead of me telling you, how about my headache, I snapped and yelled at you. It was never about your singing.
So it's never been my fault.
No. So, what exactly happened versus how she perceived it? Yeah, as you see it through this story, the little girl perceived that her singing, her authenticity, was not good enough for her father. But the reality has nothing to do with that. So she lived all her life with the mindset of it doesn't matter what she does, it's never good enough.
Mm.
As another example, doubting in taking that trade, not being open to business opportunities. Remember to convert your problems into learning opportunities.
And because trauma is not what happened to you, it's what's happening inside you. The secret to reset your mindset is the way you think. It's what happened between your ears. It's how you talk with yourself. It's what you say to yourself every single day. I leave you with this. You have two choices. You either continue to repeat what you're doing, or
you're going to evolve from it.
exactly. In conclusion, I want to share one of my favorite quotes from author Wayne Dyer. He said, "When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at changes." Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice. Wow. Number one, that was an incredible performance. So thank you for that. And number two, even more importantly, the value that you delivered in all of that and the nuggets that you shared with us there's so many great takeaways. Thank you so much for sharing everything. And I want there was from everything that you shared today, you summed it up in one sentence, which was the secret to resetting your mindset is in your thoughts. And so I just want to kind of bring that out again and highlight that, because it truly is the thoughts that we're telling ourselves determine the inner thoughts that we have determine our outer world. And when Wayne Dyer said that, the way that you look at things, say that again.
The way you look, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at changes.
Yes, when you change the way you look at things. So it truly begins with with your thoughts. You cannot wait for your exterior to change in order to change your interior. It's the other way around. So changing that interior will show up on the exterior. And so I just want to say thank you so much for sharing it and bringing all of what you brought today.
Oh, well, thank you. And I just want to share another little tool as well. It's called stacking. Because what happens is in stacking is, and a lot of people don't even know we do it. Oh God, I'm not good enough. Oh, I can't believe I did that dumb trade. Oh, I did another one. Oh, I'm always a failure. And what you're doing, you're stacking negative, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger to the point you just have either a breakdown, depression, or you go like, you snap. Well, let's stack it the other way. Hey, I did a bad trade. Yes, that means I recognize what a bad trade looks like. I'm thankful that I have this opportunity. I'm thankful I do this. Gratitude is very important. And it's also not only saying in gratitude verbally, have a journal, write it down to remember your wins. We look at the wall here. Having a wall like behind us for the viewers that see, we have a reward wall, ribbons, certificates, accomplishments. By putting that down, you're stacking the positives. And before you know it, every day you see that, you feel, yes, I feel great. I feel mighty. I am Superman. Yes. And now you're going to tackle everything, because when you get onto the charts, having a negative mindset is a dangerous weapon. When you see in the morning the rewards and keep stacking, it doesn't matter if that person cuts you off in traffic or that colleague at work has a bad attitude. It's not going to affect you because you're already stacked with so much positivity and gratitude.
So,
thank you.
Wow, so many cool things from the story for what you just said. I will put it in terms of the power of storytelling. It's incredible because we get immersed in a dialogue, and then all the nuggets of wisdom are coming there. So kind of like a children's book, like a movie. So literally, some of the things that Jenny and we do in the podcast is like to bring those things out, and in the story you are like constantly putting them there, very clear. And I think like it's very cool for listeners to grab whatever people resonate in this moment, because in a story like this you can throw 10 nuggets of wisdom, and one person will take whatever they need in that moment. They might not take the 10 of them. So I just want to point out also to recognize your work. So this is like it condenses all your work of many readings. Like you just mentioned in this moment, stacking from Tony Robbins, you mentioned Wayne Dyer, you mentioned Dan Gilbert, and there's so many things that are there that we can see that is behind this work, behind this 10-20 minutes that you just shared with us. So congratulations for that, because a lot of people, I think they will resonate with that, and then with future things that you will work on, because as you said, we are evolving and we take more things and we add those to a new skit or a new book or a new whatever. So congratulations on all that work, because it seems easy once it's done, but it's not always easy.
So definitely it's not. It's a lot of work, a lot of rehearsal, a lot of ideas. We brainstorm a lot of ideas, like, oh, we could say this and we could say this, but we could say this. And then there's so many things that we want to say, but in the same time, we have to be limited to certain time, and we want to bring the most valuable things for the audience. And like you said, the things that they will, our purpose, and I think, is to spark something in someone that will make them, look at things differently in their life about what happening with them, and then realize that, because like Jenny, what you said, all the work is inner work. If you want any results, you have to start with you have to start with the person in the mirror, and that's how everything starts with.
So good. Yeah. The tools that you brought for us today, I just want to recap on those as well. For us to help us look inside and do that inner work, right? So we had talked about journaling and really recognizing those thoughts that you're having, those limiting beliefs. Number 2 is the idea of stacking. The stacking can go either in a negative way or it can go in a positive direction. Which one do you want to choose? 3 is gratitude, really extending gratitude toward all of the things that you have in your life, and writing them down, putting them in a journal as well. You had mentioned you have 2 choices. You can repeat the way that you have been living your life, or you can step out of that and evolve, and continuing to evolve. And so it takes work. jumping onto this podcast is one thing, yes, but then actually going through your day to day, like taking a bath every single day, brushing your teeth every single day. So these are the things that we need to implement into our lives on a daily basis, recognizing our thoughts, choosing a new storyline for ourselves, and deciding what that storyline looks like, taking the time to write it down, taking the time to decide for ourselves, taking the time to focus on it. We can do meditation as well. So letting that mind become still. And when that mind becomes still, we can listen to what's inside. We can become connected more to our interior. And I just want to let the listeners know that these are also tools that we will be focusing on at the Mindset and Trading Retreat that we'll be having in February in Bend, Oregon. It will be February 19th through the 24th. We do have trading educator Teresa Guthrie, who will be there as well. We'll have myself, yes, holistic health coach Jenny Trumpa. We'll also have Tonio Gonzalez, who will be joining us. And some of these things, along with the skill of trading, right, which is a vital part of trading, is knowing how to do it, comes, as you mentioned, the mindset component of it. So the psychology behind it. So truly getting tapped into our mindsets, the psychology behind the trades that we're taking, why we're taking the trades that we're taking. Those are some of the things that we'll be focusing on at the retreat. We'll be doing ice baths as well. So ice baths are also really great at helping to get connected into the interior and calming down the anxiety that our nervous system. When we can get that nervous system calm in our daily life, it also helps us to focus on the trades and not be so impulsive on the charts. We will be doing meditations, yoga, breath work as well. So breath work can also help us get connected to some deep traumas that have been stored in our body and help them to come up and out, and allowing us to look at them. Sometimes we don't even know that they're stored there, right? So allowing them to come forth, we can look at them and we can alchemize them. We can transmute them into something different for ourselves, sending love and sending gratitude to certain things in our life. And so we'll be having sound baths. So there's a lot of things that we'll be incorporating at the retreats. We invite all of the listeners to come. And is there anything else? Yeah, go ahead.
I
Tonio.
just want to emphasize that the beautiful place that it's this retreat. You know, it's like, I don't know if you can explain a little more about that. One more time, I mentioned that in the podcast before, but the other 3 retreats that we have done were in Tulum, Mexico, and incredible setting near the beach and in the jungle, and where you can be in a very peaceful place. And now we go to the United States in Bend, Oregon.
Yeah,
the mountains.
Into the mountains. Yes,
it's like just
the mountains.
A good place.
Finding the balance. Yeah. So there's balance of the heat and the warmth. And now we're going to be in the cold and the mountains. And there's so much beauty in the winter and what the winter can provide for us. Wow. And that internal. Yeah. So it's going to be a great retreat in general. And so we're just looking forward to having the listeners.
You don't mind me saying regarding your retreat here, because like the story, like the cow and the buffalo, there's one aspect that nobody did really point out. So, like Jenny, people can be a cow and by not getting the help. See, like the buffalo, you don't have to be alone. Buffaloes go in herds. So by having a team like what you're both doing, having Jenny and having all these great people at the resort, you're not alone. You get the tools. You get this daily mindset, this routine, what this routine actually looks like. And now, with the helping hands of each other, you can go through the storms of our lives. And sometimes we don't even know that we're going through a storm until somebody goes, hey, do you know this problem? No, I didn't. So I really appreciate you two for creating this resort to help people become buffaloes.
Oh, thanks. Morris.
For example, I want to mention again, I have said it before, but Jenny, she has an accountability partner and a lot of people that were working with Teresa. And And you just mentioned this story again of the buffalo and the cow and the herds and the team and what that brings confidence. Jenny mentioned to me how this accountability partner has been very helpful to bounce ideas of what works and what doesn't, and then to point out some of other things that sometimes we don't see that the other person sees. So that is very, 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 very cool that you mentioned this aspect, because even though that we could have that confidence and that identity of how to do things, once we are with other people, it's like, oh, you reinforce those aspects and then you learn in other aspects, and that's the whole purpose of this retreat. And going back to the idea that you mentioned, stacking, this is stacking, it's like we have people that were in the first retreat, now second, third retreat, now probably will come to this one, and then you gain other skills, and there's people that now are teaching other people, so because they already know what the basics of some stuff. So the whole purpose is not and honestly, the whole purpose is not the retreat itself. It's like what you mentioned at the beginning, is like doing life in the terms that you want, not just exchanging of what you learn in that course with Robert Kiyosaki, not just exchange your time for money, but knowing have other sources of income that are not affected by inflation, or and then do the life on your terms, and pretty much just have the best life possible. That's the whole purpose. And yeah, thank you for coming to the show and contributing to all of that.
That was beautiful, Tonio. Thank you so much. Morris and Adriana, do you have anything else you'd like to share with the listeners?
I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for this beautiful opportunity and the honor to speak in front of your audience. We don't take this lightly. I appreciate both of you for everything you guys do. You definitely, I know you both impact so many lives and help so many people. And this is a beautiful thing that we can help each other and all become better human beings with each other in this world.
And I really love that, again, we're all on the same mindset, how we love to help people, because at the end of the day, we're all family. Doesn't matter where we're from, what our background is, doesn't matter our situation is, we're all family, and we're all here to help each other out, to be like the buffalo, to be a herd and support each other. So for what you two are doing, again, it's such an honor and blessing, and we're so blessed to be part of this podcast here. And I just wish you both and all the listeners out there many blessings and great health and joy and peace and prosperity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, you two. I might have a tear in my eye right now.
I got one too.
Oh, it was so beautiful. We're super grateful for you as well, and for everything you brought here for the listeners today. Thank you so much for being here on this show. Tonio, is there anything else you'd like to add before we go? Okay.
Gratitude. Thank you so much, guys.
We'll be able to find Morris and Adriana on their social channels, which will be posted in the description of this podcast. And we just want to say thank you again so much, Morris and Adriana, for being here today. Thank you so much to all of the listeners of this podcast. We do hope that you were also able to find this information useful, inspiring. And please remember to find us at www.vitalityjourneys.com/mindset and trading bend. There you'll find all of the information you need to know about the Trading and Mindset Retreat happening in February 19th through 24th, 2023 in Bend, Oregon. And we invite you also to subscribe and share this content with at least one other person who would also like to compound their wealth, become financially free, and live a life they love by design. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.